again, I just want to welcome everybody. Really appreciate you joining today's Media Mentor session. Thanks for supporting us today in this hour block. We appreciate any feedback that you have as well. So please feel free to share with us. I'm Dolly Wolf, and I'm the founder of One Day Immersion. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our goal really is to, share real world insight and best practices from some of the smartest people in the industry. And speaking of, our lovely guest speaker has arrived, and that's who I'm speaking of, some of the smartest people in the industry, which leads me to introducing Mika. It's Tamika Blockett, but she prefers Mika. She is Vice President and Content Director for Studios at Universal McCain Worldwide, which is a global media and advertising agency. She has shaped numerous award-winning campaigns, amazing, spanning global Fortune 500 companies such as Viacom, the Coca-Cola Company, and HERSHEY'S. She also serves on UM's Diversity and Belong Council, where she aims to inspire the community togetherness through cultural belonging. Boy, I'd love to hear more about that. Mika received her Bachelor of Science in Journalism from Bowie State University and HBCU in Maryland. And I first reached out to Mika earlier this past year when she was on a media panel and spoke about diversity in the industry. I found her to be so incredibly candid, really reflective of her path, and so inspiring and deeply honest. And I just thought she really touched me. And if she touches me, I bet she touches other people as well. So we were so fortunate to have her participation in our 2020 fall conference, which will be again planning starting next month and now today. So I'm very excited, very happy she's here to join us. And so I'd like everyone to welcome our guest, Mika Blockett. Ta-da!
Hi everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is, safe, warm, comfortable. I know in the New York area, it's tons of snow. So me and my colleagues have been talking about that. But I am quarantining with my grandmother. So I am in the Midwest in Little Rock, Arkansas. So, but fortunately we can work from home, and yeah, I see thumbs up. So shout out to Louisiana and Arkansas, Texas too. So yeah, I just wanted to, thank you, Dolly. Thank you for that amazing intro. Sorry, I'm doing some moving around. Today's been a little nutty. I was trying to get my lighting right. I'm just hopping off of a client call. So I was like, guys, I have to go. And usually I don't do that to my clients, but today's important because I'm all about the youth and want to make sure you guys know the opportunities. And I think Dolly's amazing for, this is her life's work, right? So being able to get you into a right place, get your footing into the right place, and knowing what the industry is about. So Dolly, do you have so presentation, do you want to bring that up first? So what I'll do, she gave a great opening, but people love to talk about themselves. So I'll just give you a little bit more about me. So I started out the world of PBS, public broadcasting service, and I just knew I was going to work on Sesame Street, right? Well, that wasn't the case. I went to the location, I went to the headquarters, and the headquarters was about working for the affiliate stations that's all over the US. And we did some interesting work there, and that's where I learned about planned giving, estate giving, and then that introduced me to special events. And from there, I was able to go to BET. So the woman that I had met lovely woman that I met at PBS, the head of special events there, she asked me to go over to BET with her. So then there was my journey over at BET Networks where and I'm dating myself, but I know I have a young face, right? But I was able to work on the first BET Awards, and I think I worked in the BET sector setting family. I think I missed probably maybe 3 or 4 award shows. So, that was a great time working on the mega shows. That's when Celebration of Gospel and the first, we started BET Awards, we started honors, so working I got my hands wet and I started to understand more about the industry. So, and I wanted more. I wanted to grow more. So from there, I went to New York. There was an opportunity to go to MTV Networks and still work on the BET brand. So that's when that merger happened, back when Bob Johnson sold BET, and that was a big thing, to MTV Networks. So I went and worked there with affiliate sales and marketing. And then I had the opportunity to go back to BET and work in consumer marketing, And then I worked in integrated marketing. So I often joke I could be the CMO anywhere because I've touched and worked on every type of marketing. So where I am now I'm at a media company. It's called Universal McCann. For the past 3 years, I was over the portfolio of Coca-Cola. I am content management and also content management director. And what that means is basically overseeing all of the content, whether it's branded content, original content that we produce for our clients. And so under Coca-Cola, the content of where you will see that content lives on linear, digital, social, and online. And we like to say, to break it down, create, custom content. What is that? You guys see it all the time. It used to be like annoying ads that you would see on Facebook. You're like, what is this? Now it's something that, people want that. People want to see that. So those are the things that we produce. They're not the big aspirational commercials that you see, right? That a Toyota does. But we may do something inspirational on, we may team up with in Essence or a Vogue or a Pinterest and do, say for instance, right now I head up the Hershey's team, and we just did something with Pinterest and, a how-to cooking video, right, with moms. So, that's where you'll see our stuff, or on TikTok. So it's a lot of different avenues. I hope I don't sound all over the place, but there's a reason why I'm trying to tell you all my journey. So with that said, can they see the presentation, Dolly? Okay, cool. So, yep, that's me. We already went there. So I wanted to kick it off. We're going to rewind just a little bit. We wanted to kick it off really and ground us in this quote by Maya Angelou. I just love it. So you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And that kind of connects with my journey that Dolly took you through. Sorry that we're doing a reverse. But the reason why I wanted to share all of that, all of the different aspects of the industry, is because it shows you the breadth of where you can go in this industry. So the industry itself, let's give some time to that. Media, social, and partner. So when it comes to media and social and partner, what I mean by media, obviously the media company that I work at, the brands, we are responsible for basically their money. They may give us billions of dollars to, to dictate where those ads and custom content is going to go, where, people are going to see their billboards, radio, out of home, commercials, things of that nature. So all of that stuff, media companies are responsible for. And then in addition to that, my company in particular, not that I'm selling my company, But my company in particular, the sweet spot is we have a studios department, which is our creative angle. And that's where I come into play. So, I'm not going to take you through my life journey again. However, it's just very interesting on, what media does and the avenues that you can take. And in a little bit in those slides, I'll just go through a couple of different job career possibilities that you could get into. Social, we are all familiar with social. So the socials of the world are TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Triller. You guys are, you're with it, what's happening. So those are those social partners. And then the other partners, what I mean by that, they're like what we refer to them as partners and publishers. So that would be different production companies. That would be your, for us, that would be like a BET Network, NBC Universal, even counting streaming partners such as a Hulu or Netflix. Let's see, Viacom, CBS. Then you have, just those partners. Those partners are creating their own custom content, and we play with them as well, creating what those potential partnerships would be, whether it's placing our brands inside of their particular shows, whether it's doing a one-off, smaller custom content, branded content around promoting the product. It could be a Podbuster. There's a lot of different ways that we play creatively with our partners. So that's what I mean by that. And I definitely I know we, have until 5:00, but I definitely want this to be super interactive. So, Dolly, if you don't mind, before I go to the next slide, would you mind if we have any, I asked if there's any questions, and I'm more than happy to, have this be a conversation as we go through this.
Yeah, please.
So anyone have any questions? Awesome.
I have a question.
Okay. You go first.
Thank you. So when it comes to working in the social industry, can you tell me a little bit more about the different job options? Like aside from advertising for products, like on Instagram, like what else is there?
When you're referring to like a TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, things of that nature, right? Okay, so yes, when you get on that side, it's definitely tons of roles, and it's growing. So like a Snapchat, they're building what you call worlds within worlds, and they need people to work on that. So you're going to have producers, right? Who's producing those shows? Then you're going to have writers. You're going to have obviously your social team, social managers. That's either writing the copy, and then you may be a part of the team that's tracking how your social is doing. So there's different mediums when it comes to being on in the social space. So every entity, right? They are. So say for instance, Twitter's not producing a lot of separate shows, right? You don't really see shows on Twitter, but there's monitoring. There's different groups that they have. There's different the way they galvanize their teams. I know a couple of people that's over at Twitter. They might be in HR. They might be over in the marketing section. On YouTube, they have their own creative studios that they have, where obviously they're working with the influencers, right? And then they also have those content producers that's creating content. So depending on, here's what obviously I can't name off all of the jobs, but here's what I recommend. Go on to LinkedIn. Go on to LinkedIn and see what type of positions that they're looking for. And it doesn't have to be an entry level, but just see what kind of positions that they're looking for. even when I'm not looking for a position right now, but I like to keep my ears to the streets and know what's out there, right? And the industry, especially media and entertainment, constantly changing. Like right now, it's a wild, wild west because of COVID, because of where we are. So the way that we are, and not to pivot from your question, but I did want to shed a little light on this, if you don't mind.
No,
I did want to, shed light on the way that the industry is producing content, the way that we're working with certain creators, influencers. We work with a lot of influencers, has changed. 1 year ago, before COVID hit, for 3 years, I was constantly on the road, flying to different shoots and producing. Due to COVID, everybody had to make a shift, right? So now we figured out a way to produce our content or a movie, being able to, have the necessity people that's there and working virtually and being able to look at how thing is being immediately per your client, right? So it might be me, Dolly's my client, and then we're looking on the screen on how something's coming to life. We just did that for a couple of campaigns for over the holiday. So, but to answer your question, those are a few that you'll find, but definitely go to LinkedIn or Indeed and see what jobs are out there, or go on their site as well. Go on their site. And they have job listings on their site.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Mika. Thank you so much for coming. I have a question. I'm curious if part of it, like say somebody is a content creator, but they're not an influencer. So say they're, writing a pilot or a short film. Would they go to someone like you or someone in your department rather to raise funds for their project by placing your products in their content? Like, is that a good way to raise money for projects?
No. I'm trying to field your question the best way I can. You're writing a show or a script, and you're trying to figure out where to get those fundings from for somebody to align. You would go to a production. I'm thinking you would go to a production company. So my company, there's a certain team, and we have just revamped how we would do that. But you wouldn't necessarily come to us because the way that process works, we already have the brand, and our originals team would go out and find the show that works for. There are companies. I'm not sure what's your name? We might have to have, because this might take longer than.
My name's Mia.
Mia, where are you on this? I'm
the black and white picture.
Okay, I can't see you. But Mia, because I feel like this might take a little time, and I want to make sure I filled your question right. I see you. Okay, cool. Cute pick. I may have to dig a little bit more. I want to lead you in the right direction. Would you mind if we take this offline?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. I mean, I may not be able to find you funding, but I may be able to point you in the right direction.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So yes, and I'll give everybody my info at the end. So did someone else have another question before I move on? Okay, cool. So you guys are like spot on. We were just talking about this. So that was leading right into the career opportunities, right? So just to talk about this, just to ground us a bit more. So for media opportunities, you have within the media company, you have studios, you have strategy, you have investment, planning, research, search, and social, and also talent. So what does that mean? So for studios, that's the creative team, right? So we have production team, we have content managers, content directors, associate creative directors, and directors. So we're like a creative hub. Then you have strategy. I don't know, what everybody's studying, but strategy to me is very interesting. We, as a content management team, we work very closely with strategy. And why is that? Because when you get a brief from your from your client, they're telling you, so say for instance, fall baking, right? What do we want to do for fall baking 2020? And here's the goal, here's the objective, blah, blah, blah. Then that strategist, it's a full-on brief and it has more information in there. That strategist is going to take that back, and we figure out what that tension is, right? And they come up with the strategy for the entire program, for that entire campaign. Once we align on that, then we're working with them to creatively solve for what media creative can we put together that's going to solve for this strategy. So we take that and we want to make sure that's, you want to work that strategy from the beginning all the way to the end of the program. And that's super important because you want to make sure your KPIs, you want to hit those goals, right? So strategy can be very creative. You're leading, you can lead, you're leading with research and gathering research and facts, but you're not research, but they help to curate your strategy. So definitely, if you are in marketing and you're looking to get into media, I definitely recommend looking into strategist roles. You have investment department that obviously I call them money bags. They're the ones that spend the money, and they have close relationships with the partners. And we work with them closely because we have close relationships with the partners. And we're recommending when we say those partners, are we going to play with BET? Are we going to play with Essence? Are we going to play with, NBC, CBS? Who's the best partner for this? Even when it comes down to influencer agencies, what agency do we want to use? Planning. They're the people that, they have the funds up front. So they're the ones making sure okay, we have $1 million investment in here. Here's where we're going to put this money. We're going to put this money. It's going to be a social play. It's going to hit YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, research. That's self-explanatory. Search and social. The young lady, Charity. I think that's Charity. Yeah, search and social. Maybe, hit me up on an email. We can talk more about that later, but that's another avenue with different roles, if you're into social media that you might want to look into. And that specifically is in a media company. All of these entities have a social media team. So if you're interested in social media, know that a media partner is going to have it, a partner is going to have it, a publisher is going to have it, and obviously an entertainment company. Partner publisher company, down to what I was talking about before. So back in my day when I worked at BET, we had creative services, we had integrated marketing. Creative services, let me back up just so you guys know. And I hope I'm not being too tedious, but I just want to make sure you have a clear understanding what these different departments are. So when you're interested in looking for jobs, it will be helpful. I see a little typo. Don't judge me. So it says creative services. So that's where your, that's the department that, the look and feel, right, of the entire network. So how you watch OWN, right? So down from the logo, the graphics that you see that's on air, what a show, like what the entire look and feel, the different commercials specific for that brand, that's coming out of creative services, right? They have their editors, voiceover, planning, project managers. It's lots of things under what creative services do. You have integrated marketing, a team that I used to work on. They're working with a media company they're the flip side. So I come to them with, here's an RFP, here's a plan of what I want you guys to do. Then on the flip side, they're going to go and see like what shows are possible, what sexiness content that they can bring to us, right? So they have that's integrated marketing, partnership marketing. It's B2B marketing. That is, where we basically brought Time Warner. You have your Time Warner, Comcast, Verizon Wireless. So you have your cable networks and your streaming services. So they would be boring without shows, right? So we brought them the sexiness of a Nickelodeon, a Kids' Choice Awards, or or a CBS program. So they're working. It's a B2B partnership. It's not you're not going to be doing anything out facing to the public. And then you have social again, charity, and then you have sales. So sales, that's self-explanatory. You're interested in marketing, but sales is a great job to have too, because you're selling in whatever company you want to sell in those services. And then you have entertainment, the entertainment industry. You have writers, producers, marketing. You have the directors and the editors. So before we move on and just go over networking, do you have any questions about, sorry, I shouldn't have moved that slide, about career opportunities? I know we kind of talked about that, but we have space and time for it.
That's very thorough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do, Mika, just a small question. So this is Braille. You can find me on there.
Hi, Braille.
Hi, I'm actually a minister and a recording artist focused on music, spirit, and community growth. And I found that often artists struggle in the industry because they may understand music, but they don't understand the businesses in which they are servicing, like licensing, TV, etc. And so on your last slide, as you were talking through, I was kind of trying to see what I was wondering when it comes to music licensing. Every brand, every show, anything that's on TV requires music, right? Any type of commercial, any type of shows. And so I was wondering, is that something that your company deals with when it comes to licensing, or would that be something that the brand already has established?
So when it comes to music licensing, we leave that up to the content producers. So if it's music in something, we should already have the rights and clearances, and we have a contract to ensure that happens. Now, when I was on the BET, and take it even a step further, when I was on BET or Nickelodeon side, when it comes to licensing and clearancing, then we work with our lawyers to ensure that we have those rights and clearances. And where does that come from? Obviously, they're working with whoever produces that song, or the music the music company that originated from. And then they have that price negotiation that's back and forth, right? So that, I hope that's helpful. But no, my company ahead of time, whatever music that's embedded in, that should be cleared by the company where that's producing the material we're doing.
Yes, that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question. Hi, how you doing? It's nice to see a sister at the helm. I am the Guru Warrior. I have my own little podcast. And I ran it for quite some time off of, a free podcasting platform called Anchor. Anchor sold themselves to Spotify. What I was doing was taking unsigned hip hop artists, right? I got their permission, had everything down on paper. And I said to them, this is your show. I'm going to feature you throughout my show between, uplifting messages. This is before all the COVID happened. Then I get a call from one of my listeners in Japan. Now, I had worldwide listeners, like 2,000 people were listening to me a day. And when they switched over to Spotify said, no, you can't do that. But then I go back to them back to Anchor and I start again as the Guru Warrior speaks the truth. And the only music that I use behind my show is the music that my daughter produces, because she's, you know, a hip hop producer and she makes her own music and all kinds of other stuff. Very talented, but that's not the point. I use her background music and they're still telling me I'm breaking the rules. So what I want to know, is there any room for anybody who's looking for talent? Because I'm tired of playing with these little companies that scatter me all over the place. And basically my message just gets lost. You know, I have a big message and I gotta share it.
So I just want to make sure I totally hear you. First of all, kudos to you, and congrats for, you know, launching your show, then it going to Spotify, and then you relaunch it. And I totally hear the frustration in your voice. I'm just trying to understand, just so I can field it correctly, your question of, is it, can you, do you think they're not right with saying that you can't use your daughter's music, or you going back to the other platform?
Well, no, my thing is there any other way that maybe I can come off of these little platforms and, you know, put my hat in the ring as far as, hey, I'm talent over here, you know, because I see a lot of influencers all over the place and I'm wondering how they got there. I mean, I got there for 3 years as an influencer and they shut me down. And I'm like, why? And they could not give me a straight answer for anything. So I was like, fine, you know what? I'm going to come back and I'm going to change it. But I'm looking to further that and get out of these little things because it seems to me like a scam. And I feel like they're like blocking my content. Like I have only 3 or 4 listeners now. And those are my friends from when I started that platform 3 years ago, as opposed to, you know, and it's not like I don't advertise. It's not like I'm not on all the social medias or anything like that, but I'm only one person, you know? So I'm looking to get into a company or somebody that realizes, hey, you've got talent. Let's work with that. You know, I'm not a spring chicken.
Yeah, I think, okay, so I feel like I'm hearing 2 things. So whether you want to be an influencer, so if you do want to be an influencer in the radio space,
yes.
Then, you know, then how, I don't know what your, it is a way that you curate yourself on your social media platforms and then you have to reimagine maybe how you're putting yourself out there and maybe, you know, maybe rethink or add to the show that you're doing, right? Because what you want to do, how will people get to see that you are talent or look at you as talent or someone that they want to use for their brand? You need to make sure you're putting out content and putting it out consistently. And then you need to raise your, you know, the numbers, making sure you have followers. You know, there's micro influencers, there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So that would be my recommendation. Rethink your marketing strategy and your plan on how you're outward facing, how brands would interpret you. And you might have to rejigger that a bit.
All
and
right.
I would recommend go on to Pinterest and or look up things around being an influencer.
Right.
And when I say go on to Pinterest, they have different recommendations on what you could be doing as an influencer. Is that helpful?
Yes, very helpful. Thank you very much, sister. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You have a great day.
Okay, you too. So we're going to move on to networking. And I know I think we have 20 minutes. So I want to leave room for some questions. But I just wanted to, as we go through this, these are some things that I think that, as you guys are starting off in your career, or wherever you are in your career, would be good. Some tips and tricks to know as you're navigating your way. So right now during COVID, and you can read about it as well. The new claim to fame is virtual networking. And the good thing about it is from C-suite executives to all the way through, the professionalism world, I guess you could say, the way to get at people, people are open to doing more virtual networking and having more virtual meetings with people, which is great. So say for instance, we connect on this call, in the beginning, Dolly had mentioned how she met me. I was on another platform. She emailed me, reached out to me, and we just formed a relationship. And it's been like Zoom ever since. So, that's a way that you can network. Mentoring. I would recommend, if you don't have a mentor, look into getting a mentor, and ideally try to think about getting a mentor in the avenue or in the realm of what you're trying to do, right? Because they can help guide you a little bit better down the path you need to take. And when you are a mentee, think about, so how to be a good mentee, right? Don't expect your mentor to do all the work. Don't come with, to them with like 50 million questions. You should have like a really thought out plan, and then ask them, don't make it super heavy. Like, here's all my problems. Like, can you solve them? It should be definitely a two-way street. I've learned a lot from my mentees. And the mentees to me that stick out are the ones that they aren't, it is a progression, authentic relationship. And those are the best relationships, right? You want them to be real. People that keep in touch, people that are thoughtful. And then also, what can you do for your mentee? You might be someone that's younger and you really know I'm going to use charity again. You really know the social space. There may be things that you're doing in a project, meaning your mentor, that they're like, hey, what do kids or young people from, the Gen Z millennial audience, what do they think of XYZ? And you can, help. It could be some mutual sharing. That's what I'm trying to get to. I love to tell stories, so I'm trying to, curb that, because I know our time is limited. Media and advertising organizations. So this is another great space and place to be in. So when I think of this, think of NAMIC, National Association of Minorities in Communication, PRESA. There's also, I think it's, she runs it. So there's different organizations within the industry that you may want to look into and get involved in. There's also Add Color, and I'm trying to think of another one. But do your research. And there's, back in the day when COVID was not a thing, people had, network, you could look on someone's site and it might say having a happy hour. And, you could go there and, obviously they're going to talk about membership. They're going to talk about, you can, introduce yourself to people. And being someone that's just graduating or, on the cusp of graduating, this is a place to get your feet wet and volunteer for different maybe programs that they have or different things that they're doing. So that's just another way to network. Networking, it may also lead you to your internship, right? In internships, fantastic way to get your not only foot in the door, but get your job. I've seen plenty of people to have an internship and then they are offered a position there, or the person that they're working with, they're so great, they may recommend them to someone else. Case in point, had a mentee. Sorry, let me back up. Had an intern. And back in, let's say, when I was still in DC at BET, she came in, interned with us. Amazing. She always followed up, sent cute, nice little emails. We, might have lunch together. There wasn't a job there when she finished. However, actually, she was still in school because she was a junior at the time. I moved to New York. We kept in touch over the years, and I was able to, it was perfect timing. Everything, all the stars lined up. When she was looking for a position, I think 3 months later, something opened up and I was able to get her on my team. So networking, authentic relationships, internships do work. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was be creative. Be creative in how you, if one door doesn't open, the window is open. There's other avenues and where you're trying to get to. So just being creative. And what I mean by that, I'm sorry. I was going to give you an example, but I'll give you this example. So how I got started in the industry when I graduated college, wanting to get into marketing, I knew I didn't want to do PR. So my, degree was in journalism and it concentrated in PR. I did 2 internships and knew that I did not want to do PR. So at any rate, I got a job in DC with this marketing company, but they ended up being a company that they were like concierge inside of buildings. And I was like, this is not for me. This is not the marketing that I intended to do. So this is back in the day when people still looked at newspapers. So I got my mind turning. I was like, there has to be some sort of job career fairs that maybe I could do that, So anyway, went to a job career fair. It was for, I think GW graduate school. And I did not graduate from GW. I graduated from Bowie State University. Shout out to BSU. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go to this job fair. There was like 2 other job fairs that I had earmarked off in the paper. And I went there, had my suit on, had my resume, looked like everybody else, walked into the building. Thank God nobody questioned me, like they weren't like, hey, you don't have your ID. So I, was able to sashay myself in there and ended up meeting the HR director for PBS. So that's how I got my start. I just, hit the pavement and, got creative on how and zeroed in and lasered in on what I wanted. Right. I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment creative agent, industry. I just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do because at the time, nobody told you, you just got your degree. It wasn't like, here's all the different things that you could do within this entertainment media space. And then when you get into the workforce, you're like, oh my God, it's endless. So at any rate, my recommendation and my definitely my thought is get super laser focused on what you want and then different roles will start to appear. Look on LinkedIn, ask people, take different meetings. If you see somebody's LinkedIn, don't be afraid to send them a message or, look within your own circle. And if you know someone that knows someone, that's always a good way. Look at different people that you aspire to be and see if you could take a meeting with them to have a lunch with them. I think we have 3 minutes. I'm going to leave it. No, we have 7 minutes, I think. Anyway, I just want to open it up to any questions that you guys might have.
So So you were kind enough to say that we could, be in touch with you. What is the best way to do that?
I think, why don't I give Dolly my my info, and then I think that's the best way. Is that the best way, Dolly?
Sure. Yeah. And everybody, you can send me if you're interested in continuing the conversation with Mika. Send me a note at dolly@onedayimmersion.com, and just say regarding Mika.
Awesome. I hope this was super helpful. We have a couple more minutes, I think. So does anybody else have any questions? I want to open that up.
I have a question. Well, I have two. One is smaller. Well, firstly, I really like your presentation, just like visually. I've been learning graphic design, and it's really pretty to look at.
Thank you.
But also in terms of networking, I know that it can get a little overwhelming for people who are in the mentor position, because there's so many students looking to do the same thing, which is learn from people who have done this before us and have more experience. But I'm just wondering, what's a good way to, I guess, not have a dull communication? Because I know there's always, you want to be polite and considerate of their time and all of that goodness. But how does one not appear cookie cutter while also looking to show respect and communication to a mentor or someone who they want to know?
I think, I had this conversation with another young lady that I mentored last season. Be super authentic. Find something in common, right? So where are you from?
I'm from New York City.
What part?
Manhattan right now.
Okay, so I've been in New York for like 13 years. I'm quarantining with my grandmother right now, but however, I live in Harlem. So, I'm off of 136 in Broadway. That's probably TMI. Guys, don't come see my.
I work in Harlem, so I'm starting to get more familiar with the area.
Okay, so you start off with that, right? Yeah, you just start off like you would a friend, and the best conversations is getting to know people. So you would open it up to me. I'm going to open it up to you. Maybe if I see something behind you, I might be like, oh my God, I see a picture of your dog. Like, what kind of dog is that? And then, you pick up on things that may be similar, like, or girl, I love your frames. What kind of frames are those? Maybe you wouldn't say girl to your, you know what I mean? Like, there would just be, you try to grab something that is that you can share a mutual thing on, and then the conversation sort of grows from there. So I would recommend being authentic. It's not authenticity. It is putting your own personality in it, right? Where they can get to know you. And then people will feel best invested in you. Because what I've learned, and this is just a personal learning, when you try to be when you try to be too blanket, right? Too like vanilla, then they don't feel like they know you. But if they feel like there's a little opening, I know a little bit more about you. Charity, I see your plant. My sister loves plants, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Then it's like, now that I know Charity has plants, you know what? Maybe for Christmas, I'm going to send her another plant. So it's building that relationship. It's relationship building. So I feel like maybe if you want to tweak that, maybe get some books on relationship building.
Mm-hmm. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I would, listen, 3 more minutes. Dolly, what you tell me, should we keep the conversation going or should we cut it?
I want to say thank you for having this, because I've been through so many majors. I started off like I was going to be a doctor, but my creativity is just like, no, you need to use me. So I've been trying to figure out what's the best way for me to do that, I actually have a step team of 7th and 8th graders, no, 6th and 7th graders, sorry. And, I'm just trying
so
to
cute.
just use my creativity all the time, basically. And thank you for allowing me to see my different options. Very helpful.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. And I just want to touch on, Dolly, you had said, I want to know more about that, meaning how I work with my diversity and inclusion. I'm sorry, we renamed it diversity, equity, and belonging. So I was tapped to be on a couple of teams. And unfortunately, and everybody knows, George Floyd, the incident had happened. But his death, we are getting some things out of it because it shook up the world, and it shook up even the professional industry. And there's a reckoning that we are all having to face. And so what does that mean? That means even when it comes down to influencers, right? Is there fair pay for them? Are we being fair? Are we being fair with the rates? Are we being fair with how they're being compensated? Are we being fair in who we choose? Are we making sure there's diversity within diversity? Of course, me being a person of color, I am with the work that I'm working on, but I'm only one person and I'm only working on certain brands. There needs to be an industry standard. So we are trying to work to create what that industry standard is and push for our partners and whoever we're working with. And then also my thing is advocating for the influencers. So it's a lot to that, but it's going to be, I think, hopefully industry changing. Also working on a team where we are trying to figure out how to get to more younger people that I can't believe I'm at an age where I'm saying that. But anyway, get to younger people that will know about the media industry, right? And all of the things that we have to offer, because there are levels to it that's world upon worlds that people of color, they don't know about and they need to know about. It's not just, creativity is not just one thing. It's so many things. It's so many worlds. So yes, keep at it. And definitely, let's chat afterwards. And I know I keep saying Charity's name. Charity had a couple of questions in the beginning, but Robin, Maria, Libby, Brill, Kyla, Ashley, everybody that's on here, you are the next wave, right? In 10 years, hopefully I'll be retired and I've made millions of dollars. But you are the future. You are coming up, and you are. We need for people like you to be invested in Dolly's program and to get everything out of it that you want to get out of it. This is your life career. So in a year or two or in 5 years, you'll be doing the same thing and teaching other people how to get into the industry. So, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for listening. I thank you for your questions. And, maybe we can have a part 2 to this, Dolly, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you, Tamika.
You're so welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
So much. Tamika,
so I'm going to throw it over to you, Dolly.
Yes. Thank you very much. Another home run. So you are 3 for 3 with ODI family. I just want to thank you for sharing your insights and your best practices, and it all is crystal clear and makes a lot of sense. Open my eyes to a lot of things, and I think we all learned a lot today. And to our guests who joined us today, again, I just want to say thank you so much. We want to provide you with this strategic information, to help build your careers, whatever state you're in, just keep connected with you. We're in your corner. We want you to succeed. So we thank you for giving us your time. And if there, like Mika said, if there are topics that you want us to cover, please send me those topics. We'll find more great speakers and part twos, because there's a lot of folks out there that are very interested in speaking with you and getting to know about you. So please make sure that you send me your ideas at dolly@onedayimmersion.com. So again, take care. Let us know how we can help you, and everybody stay safe and onward and upward. So thanks, everybody.